Yo, what's going on, everyone? We are fully aware that the Flyers blow. They are now at an 11-game losing streak, or 11-game winless streak, I should say. It's the same thing to me, though. Around the 8-game winless streak mark, I was on Nasty Knuckles with Riley Cote and Derek Settlemeyer, and they interviewed me about my feelings and where I am with this franchise. So I thought we would repurpose the show and upload it to my channel as well, just for a little background on what exactly this is. So, yeah, with that being said, let's just kind of jump into things. Enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to OT with Nasty Riggs, episode number 8, and our good buddy. This guy gets me jacked up. I don't care if we're talking about putt-putt. I get wound up when I talk to this guy. Broads, what is up, my friend? Things are pretty in Flyboy land right now. What are your takes, man?
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I will say, this might be the first time that we hung out and I didn't go headband. I went Marvin from Home Alone. I went with a little beanie on the head. So, yeah, that's a little change of pace. See, I'm not all fired up about the Flyers right now because, they've hit rock bottoms. They're so far down that they're almost not even talkable. And when you hit that point, obviously you voice your frustration about it, but this is brutal. I mean, I saw the other day one of the beat reporters throw out there, make that 7 straight. And I watch every night, whether it's on my TV, background noise, like it's on my TV. So I'm fully, seeing what's happening night by night. And I go, wait, 7 again? Like 7 again? And now it's been 8. How do you lose 10 and now you're losing 8 again? This is impossible.
You're so right. You're so right.
It does seem impossible, with looking at their lineup, right now they're getting a few guys back.
Yeah.
It does seem impossible. You're right. After going on a 7-game point streak as well, and it looked like they're turning the corner. It's gone backwards again, unfortunately.
It's funny, the psychology of winning and or losing, right? When you get into these funks, you're almost playing to lose. Like you're almost expecting to lose, and you'll find ways to lose. Versus if you're rolling and guys are bought in and the whole bit, you find ways to win. It's tough. It's tough, and like you said, there's not much else to talk about besides the obvious, and then where do we go from here? I mean, it's I think last time we had you on, we were talking about G and the situations that might be at play with him, or obviously on his own turn. But here we are, 8 weeks out of the trade deadline, 13 points out of the wild card, and I don't see any hope here. So where do we go here from here? Broads?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I actually had a conversation with my buddy the other day about this, and this is where I'm torn because he wants to blow it up, right? Trade G, trade Risto. Maybe you can get some team at the trade deadline could add that type of defenseman that brings a physicality. Look, if I'm a team making a championship run, and I'm not the biggest Risto fan in the world, but I do think if you can add that size to your 5th and 6th defenseman, add a power play, whatever, you can add that to your playoff run and not be in a tough spot.
Yep.
So he wants to go down that route, but I just asked the question. Are you closer to finding the right mix, or are you closer to blowing it up and then a 3 to 5 year window of, because my thing is you're going to stink for 3 to 5 years blowing it up, and then you're going to have to go through prospects, and then they're going to have to play juniors or NCAA and work themselves up to some sort of level where you feel comfortable with them playing, where now you're really waiting. Now you're playing the long game.
Yeah.
I just feel individually there's talent on this team. They don't have the right mix. They don't have the right mindset. So are you closer to tweaking it? And if you think about the years wise, it's going to take you 5 years to rebuild anyway if you blow it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you closer to figuring it out, or am I being naive because we've been saying that for so many years and we keep getting stuck in the middle ground? So I don't know what to do, but that's where I'm keep going back and forth in my head, and I'm conflicted.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I'm torn too, because like you said, it is a 3 to 5 year program. You blow this bad boy up, and you better be banking on your draft picks hitting. You can't miss. You can't. And I'm almost leaning towards the side of trying to find pieces to support what they already have. That's where I'm at. The full blow up. It's again, you better bank on getting those picks and then them being not just playing, but actually being impact players, and that's hard to do, right? I mean, it takes decades sometimes for teams to go through that and hit on those down years where you get a guy like Crosby or McDavid or Patrick Kane or Taves or whatever else. So I don't know. What are your thoughts there, Nast?
Yeah, no, I agree. I just feel like you said, bro, you blow it up, man. It's not 1 year.
No,
it's a few years. And is Philadelphia that patient again? We kind of went through that with Hexie. That was his idea. And it looked like we kind of were getting it figured out, during the bubble. The team went on a decent run. I mean, I know they went to the second round, but
yeah, game 7
they
too.
went to game 7. You're right there for the conference final if you win that game. And it just, things haven't worked the way we thought, and here again.
But here's a little counter argument to it that we're talking through this. Montreal established that something was wrong, and they just went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they pulled the plug and made some moves. And another part of this too is Chuck Fletcher the guy to be in place to have a whole entire reset and a rebuild after what he was brought in here to do and making some of those signings? I just don't think that fits. So you'd have to have a whole entire new philosophy if you were to go down that path. Not saying this path has been working, but that's why you're stuck.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Who is creating the rebuild? That's the question. You blow this thing up. You blow it up fully, and top to bottom, bring in new voice, new general manager, and then you start from scratch. I'm not convinced he is the guy. Based on what I've seen, obviously, again, injuries have plagued in the COVID stuff, but even saying that, other teams have gone through that and they haven't looked as bad as the Flyers have in those stretches. So I mean, I think they have pieces. He's brought some pieces in, but I mean, I don't think he's done enough to create a legitimate championship team here. So
I agree. I guess with Chuck too, though, is it hasn't worked out, obviously. This has been a disaster, but the moves prior to seeing the outcome made way more sense than the results that we are getting right now.
Right.
I can't bash him fully. I can definitely criticize some things. I mean, I like Kevin Hayes, the player, but even at the time, there were question marks about the money and the years and things like that. And, I think he's a great player when healthy, and he can definitely help impact this franchise. I do believe that. But, ultimately, when you look at bringing in Cam Atkinson and, you can have question marks about Ristolainen and the offer that he made to bring him in and whatnot. But, you definitely should be getting way more, even with those limitations on some of these guys, than what you're getting right now. So it's hard for me to put all the blame on him when these moves and these players are better players than what you're getting. Why is this the product that we're seeing on the ice?
Yeah.
No,
Am I overvaluing them?
Well, I don't think so. I think like we've talked about this in the offseason, that we thought the moves they made were good moves. So I was excited for this year. Yeah. Obviously the biggest move, Ellis only played 4 games and he's out. I think another, question mark that logs a lot of minutes. Again, it was Yandel. I mean, he's kind of towards the end of his career. You kind of know what you're going to get, but is he below expectations of what they were expecting? Obviously, they knew he had some warts, if you will. I don't know. I mean, I think just a bunch of guys have underachieved, and it's almost like contagious. And it's guys that have been there before. It's some of these new guys that took some time to get going. I don't know. Is it? At the end of the day, Chuck did make an effort to address the things we talked and complained about last year. It's just, there's just so much adversity, and again, at the end of the day, too, were those moves actually that significant? Like you look at Jake for Cam, you could argue him essentially a wash. Ellis was really the premier guy, and Risto is an upgrade, is he that much of an upgrade? For
$5.5 million.
Yeah, look at the money attached to it. That's the question marks too, right? So I mean, he's shoppable. G is in a position with G is just like it's up to him. What does he want? Does he want to ride this wave here in Philly and hope you're going into next season it's going to get better, or is he gonna is he just gonna?
Well, he's got to be re-signed. I mean, that's the.
Well, yeah.
You don't know what they're doing, right, bro? It's like.
Yeah, I don't know what they end up doing. If I'm him, though, I mean, it's easier said than done. He's got the family, he's got the kid. You know, that's obviously a huge part of this thing for him. But, you know, it just seems so toxic right now. And I've been in toxic locker rooms. I'm sure we all have been in toxic locker rooms. And there's nothing like when a new season begins, you're in a different city, or you got a new head coach. Like my first year in juniors in Vermont, we had one coach. And then the next year we had a different coach. And just you know, just a different level of vibe surrounding the locker room when you're just in a whole new spot and new things happen and whatnot. And I just feel for G at this point. It is so damn toxic. I don't know who would ever want to be near this. And real quick, though, on the Ellis trade, I will have to say it hasn't worked out because he can't stay healthy.
Right.
But what you gave up in Nolan Patrick and Phil Myers, it's not as if these guys are moving around the league.
Right, you're right, yeah.
Like, it actually, if he can stay healthy, and that's been a problem the whole time, I guess, though, is him staying healthy in Nashville. In theory and on paper, it's not a terrible move.
Not at all.
At the time, it's just not working out.
It's just not working out, yeah.
If he's playing, I think we're in a totally different area right now than we are talking. But he hasn't played for some reason, you know.
And Risto isn't worth the money, by the way. If they bring him back, you could find, look, maybe not the same level of physicality, but he's a second pairing D guy in my, you know, like probably a second, fourth defenseman type of guy. You could find a fourth defenseman that might not bring you physicality, but can give you way better in other areas of the game for
half the
less
price.
money.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe not half, but way less money. And go back to the Ellis thing. You know, as a general manager, it's always a risk signing anybody, right? Especially a guy with a history of injuries, right? You always want to hope that this is the year that he's not going to have one, and you know, there's a gamble there. Unfortunately, then
I guess my point is, I'll take that gamble.
I agree. It's you know, even if it was a wash, it's still. I mean, I think it's still better than what it was. Even if he only played 4 games, you know, but you know, it's a risk, you know, and he's
it's only
been older
4 games.
That's it.
Like, it's been 4 games this season. You know, it's a shame. I'll tell you what, it's a damn shame because they're lost, right? Like, they are in this city, in this fan base, they are lost in the sauce with everything going on. And there is a time where it hits so low that it's recognizable. Wow, the Flyers are so lost that it actually brings up conversation. We're starting to hit that maybe, but I mean, it just lacks so much depth that you can get into. And based off of the expectations that we had, I will say I hosted on the Fanatic after the Flyers-Penguins game at home. And I had this whole game plan of, I'm going to talk Embiid, I'm going to talk all the Sixers, big win. Like, it was a whole thing. I put my notes together. But I started the show by just saying, Flyers got their asses kicked. It was brutal. I can't believe that Ed Snyder didn't get anything on the Jumbotron.
Right.
That blew me away.
I'll tell you what. People were lined up until midnight, and we had to stop taking calls because I was getting off the air. I didn't speak on Joel Embiid once, and people were pissed and bothered and annoyed because of the Flyers and Snyder and everything that I said, damn, I spent an hour and a half game planning my show.
Yeah.
And the Flyers, I was like happy. I'm not happy we're in this position, but I'm happy that it hit a point for some to vent, because I think that's when maybe it gets up to the people upstairs that there's fans with trash bags over their heads.
100%, yeah.
Or brown paper bags, I should say.
Yeah, well, and that would just lend it, you know, the conversation of Comcast selling the Flyers to an owner that gives a shit. You know,
will that happen?
No,
though?
probably not. But it's probably extremely hopeful. But I mean, that would be the only way to somewhat repair that lack of spirit that's happened since Ed Snyder passed. You're never gonna have an owner like Ed Snyder, but like when there was a human connection to the team, it's a different vibe versus obviously the corporate look. But
when you walk into that building right now, it's nothing. I mean, the Rangers took over the building the other night. There is zero feeling, and I might have told you this story before, but I grew up with my father, who is the Broad Street Bullies guy, right? But he had season tickets with his buddy, and I was 4 or 5. He'd sneak me in I'd sit on his lap. But when I walked with the smell, Lauren Hart coming out, there was something about everything being at the Flyers game and the connection. And it's more than, I'm not talking about the fights and all that. And I know that plays a role with the connection with the Broad Street Boys and all, but there was just a different sense of urgency of being there as a fan with the connection. And I'm talking early 2000s. And you know, at times that wasn't even the best of times, but the late 90s, early 2000s and all, when there was still some life to it. it sucks walking into that building right now. It sucks.
It's definitely a different atmosphere. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how you fix that. That's a whole other set of issues, right? I mean, that's if you're talking about repairing what's going on in the locker room, that's a different type of repair, if you will.
But Gritty.
Yeah, Gritty. We got Gritty, right?
The Smash Room and Gritty, whatever the hell that thing was.
Room.
The hell is
I'd
that
like to
garbage?
see you in the Smash Room.
Oh man, might light that thing up.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see Travis Konechny, Joel Farabee after the game in the Smash
Yeah,
Room.
exactly.
Just trying to break more
Smashing
sticks.
Beezer didn't even make it to the Smash Room the
No,
other night. He
no.
was fucking put that.
I love that
Three, four
man.
whacks.
People made such a big deal out of that as if I didn't do that 7 times a period, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
After the first intermission in college. Yeah. I got 26 sticks a year, and I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Stick 15. It's week 3. That's how many bad outlet passes I had in practice.
It just wasn't on live HD television, right?
Yeah. Hey, tape to skate was the name of the game for me. My
Right.
forwards. Woo, bros. Come on, man. Damn. A little bit behind him.
Tape the skates.
Tape the skates.
If you'd have played with
That
G,
was
he
it.
would have picked it up. No
Oh,
problem.
yeah, he would have.
That guy's the best at that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the D3 NCAA level might limit the ability to make some of those plays for me.
Yeah. Oh man.
Right on, bro. Well, we appreciate your insight. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, fellas.
What do you got this week?
What do I have this
Yep.
week? What don't I have this week? Look, I had coffee with bros before I hopped on with you. We screamed about Ben Simmons. Right now, we scream about the Flyers. And then after this, I have to do a little bit of an Eagles show. So it's just nonstop of frustration right now, really, in the city, which it kind of always goes that way. It's positive and it's all great. And then it's all negative. We can't just have it the right way. It's always one or the other extreme. But I
Training,
guess when it's all positive, it's, I can't complain about that.
right? And training camps starting soon, right? The pitchers, do they report soon? I don't know.
Jeez, come
I'm
on.
just
We don't
saying.
even, they're on hold
I
right
know,
now. 'cause
I
the
know.
Damn bargaining.
I know. I'm kidding, man.
Unbelievable.
You can't even look forward to that. That's
I
what
will say, the Monday morning after the Eagles got eliminated, I woke up and I thought about the president of baseball operations my mind went right to baseball, and that's it. Should be about a Flyer Stanley Cup run. Damn
Yeah,
it.
100%. You're right. All right, dude.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
brother.
Thanks, fellas.
Take
I
care.
appreciate it.
Take sipping on that Joe. Keep you going.
Great. You guys keep doing what you do. You know what I'm saying?
All right. See you,
you,
bros.
brother.